There is so much new technology inside this car that before I drove it, Audi's PR people emailed me a series of videos to explain how to use it all. Now the good news is that all these systems are pretty straightforward to use, so you won't need to use the videos necessarily to figure it all out. So let's take a look at all the tech inside this 2019 Audi A7. Let's start with the MMI Touch Response infotainment system, which we like so much we gave it a Roadshow Shift Award. You've got a 10.1-inch touchscreen up here, and then a secondary 8.6-inch touchscreen lower down, which is used for some secondary controls. Now, the graphics and response times of these touchscreens are, I think, second to none among luxury cars today. You also have haptic feedback on the screens, which makes it a little easier to use the bit of glance while driving. You can rest your finger on a button, but it's not until you push a little bit harder that you hear and feel a click, letting you know that you've positively activated something on the display. The home screen has big tiles to get to all of the car's various function pages. Up top, there's a swipe down notification tab, kind of like on your phone or tablet. And over on the left, there are shortcut buttons to get to some commonly used functions. Using this system couldn't be simpler as you touch and swipe around all the menus. For instance, it's very easy to scroll through satellite radio options, for instance, or to come in here and use all the phone calling menus. The navigation system has pinch to zoom functionality and has Google Maps satellite imagery, which I think is pretty cool. There are even some connected car functions built in. I can go all the way over here, for instance, and have a look at some news headlines from all around the world if I want to know what's going on. And there's also a connected weather app that will give me both the current conditions and a forecast. The lower screen is usually reserved for the climate controls. You can see I can easily adjust the temperature, turn on and off the heated seats, and when I go into this sub-menu, even turn on things like the heated steering wheel. Now the shifter is designed so you can use it as a palm rest when you're operating the lower screen, which is really nice when you're driving. There's also a row of some extra controls for things like the engine stop-start or the lane keeping assist. And on the lower screen, you can also set a series of shortcuts. You can make those shortcuts absolutely anything you want. For instance, I've set a couple of radio stations, I've set our conference call phone number, I've even put in the address of a Mexican restaurant that I really like. But the real value of this secondary display comes when you're entering information into the infotainment system. This screen can become either a virtual keyboard like this for typing in addresses or other information, or you can set it up so it accepts written entry here. For instance, I can just write what I'm searching for, just like that.
TACO.
And of course, if you don't want to use the touch screens, well, there's natural language voice recognition as well, which also works really smoothly. I can just push this button and say something like, "Where's the nearest Mexican restaurant?"
I am searching for Mexican restaurant nearby.
In addition to the center displays and the voice control system, you can also access a wealth of information through the 12.3-inch virtual cockpit. It's a fully digital instrument cluster with beautiful high-resolution graphics. Using the buttons on the steering wheel, I can zoom in and out on maps, I can look at the phone calling or media information, I can look at trip information. There's loads of information that's really easily accessible, and there's menus, so just using these steering wheel controls, you can even access some settings as well. Other connectivity features include 4 USB ports, wireless phone charging, a Wi-Fi hotspot, and of course, support for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. We also gave a Roadshow Shift Award to the A7, as well as the related A6 and A8, for its advanced driver assist systems, which really represent a next-generation approach to active safety technology. In this car, it's all powered by a central NVIDIA-powered processor called the ZFAS, which combines inputs from up to 24 external sensors to make driving both safer and easier. Of course, the A7 features all of the active safety technologies that are common in some of its rivals too, things like automatic emergency braking with cyclist and pedestrian detection, blind spot monitoring, lane keeping assist, even this really cool 3D camera that lets me pan all around so I have no excuse for not seeing an obstacle nearby the car. But Audi's safety tech goes even further. The adaptive cruise control, for instance, has a feature that will help steer the car within its lane on the highway, although you do have to keep your hands on the wheel. It's not an autonomous system. There's also traffic sign recognition, which, in addition to putting you at the current speed limit in the instrument cluster, can even pick up warning signs like no turn on red signs. A feature called Intersection Assist scans ahead of the car at junctions and will warn you or even brake automatically if there's a car crossing ahead of you, say if another vehicle ran a red light. The pre-safe system can detect if the car's about to be rear-ended or T-boned, and if so, it'll snug down the seatbelts, close the windows, and apply the brakes to keep occupants safer. Turn assist will apply the brakes if you're about to turn left in front of oncoming traffic, and collision avoidance assist will help you swerve around an obstacle if you're trying to avoid an accident. There's also a really cool feature enabled by the fact that the Audi A7 has electric interior door handles. If you try and open the door when there's a car or cyclist coming past, the door won't open for a second or two to let them get past safely. Now, it's a little hard for us to demonstrate right here, but I tried it out last night when I was parked downtown and it works really well. It's very cool tech. And that's a look at all of the technology inside the 2019 Audi A7. For a full written review of this car, be sure to visit us at theroadshow.com.